Morning friends, happy Thursday, how the heck you doing? Royal insiders have spoken. Are these insiders Kate, William or Camilla? Probably all three of them. King Charles issues strict warning to Harry and Meghan to keep their mouths shut. Double standards, as usual, going on in Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace because they leak to the press like crazy. And this is a perfect example of a leak because how would journos at the Daily Express know what was said unless it was being leaked directly from Charles, William, Kate, Camilla? Ridiculous, isn't it? Talk about double standards. Harry and Meghan have been unusually quiet since returning to the US, or since, we don't know who was here, since whoever was here have returned to the US. And I will tell you people, there's something massive brewing in Montecito. The Montecito Massive is brewing. And the next thing that comes out from Harry and Meghan is going to be off the scale in terms of family, business and popularity. You heard it here first. The trifecta of three: family, business, blah, blah, blah.
Every once in a while, I'll wander off topic. Meghan Markle. Maybe someday somebody can explain to me exactly what that woman has done. Because y'all Brits hate her with a passion. And I read in all the articles and the hit pieces about her, because that's what they appear like. And they never say anything tangible, like that she cussed somebody out or hurt somebody. It's always this innuendo, this teethless article about her that's unfavorable, but it never says anything. Now, I know she committed some sins. She spoke out about how racist the people around her were behaving towards her. Probably something that nobody would have expected her to do, because it appears over there that the royal family has to take it up the wazoo from the firm and the establishment, and that they don't get to defend themselves, and that they run scared. But it looks like Meghan and the husband that loved her, from my perspective, stood up to that. More of an American thing to do. And so when I looked at the interview she gave Oprah, it didn't seem, nothing was surprising. We all expected that. We expected the stories to come out about how, the first Black Duchess would be treated by Brits. And then having Harry defend his wife, which is what you do when you love someone. You make vows to them. And of course, I'd be offended too if my father and my brother were concerned about the color of my child's skin. And I would want to move my wife and my family away from an establishment that broke my mother's spirit. I'd step back from my responsibilities and I'd write a book about my life, 'cause it's my life. But I guess that's not allowed over there. You can't speak about your treatment. You just had to be like Diana, grin and bear it. But yeah, I've been following them because I've known Meghan from her days on as part of the cast in Suits. And I thought she was a great person. And, I watch her cooking show and I see y'all just want to burn that to the ground. And all she's doing is being in the kitchen, cutting flowers and cooking. And y'all got a big problem with that. Too bad, because so many people liked it that they renewed her contract and she's making more shows. She's appears to be as non-problematic as you could be. Maybe devote more time to Andrew and Fergie. Anyway, other than what I mentioned, is there anything else that she's done? Because she's y'all favorite pastime and you're blaming her for the decisions of a grown-ass man to take and protect his wife. And from what I can see, they need it. Help a sister out. Help me understand.
Imagine if Meghan had this happen to her. Now imagine you're Kate and it happens often. And I'm not even including the one where she actually mooned people on an engagement. I'm not even going to show the picture. I'm not even going to show the blurred version because I don't want people to report my account. And not only does she get to move on, they are constantly sweeping everything she does under the rug that could be critiqued. Since she married William in 2011, she has not done more than 145 engagements per year. For context, in 1985, when William was the same age as George was in 2016, Princess Diana did 299. In 2020, when she did a virtual engagement, she was caught in an embarrassing situation when they told her, "You haven't visited us since 2012 in 8 years." But you probably didn't hear about it because this is the type of puff pieces that were written about her when she did that engagement. Like, it's just so crazy to me that Kate can be the least busy of all senior royals for constantly made blunders like this. Didn't start her own solo project until September of 2018, seeing a couple of her charities shutting down or partially shutting down, and she's allowed to move on from these mistakes, which I do understand is a curse in and of itself, that she has to constantly stay silent, do nothing, and be perfect. However, Meghan is dragged through the mud for seemingly anything and everything. In one of my recent videos, someone made a comment about Charles's 70th garden party birthday. They were discussing a rumor as if it was a fact. Like, imagine the Daily Mail debunking you and debunking that rumor and you still going around and believing it as a fact. Like, I just keep remembering when the South Park episode aired and the British media and the Rhoda just like whipped themselves up into a frenzy. And they literally feasted on that for days and weeks and possibly months. And that's what Meghan Markle has to deal with versus Kate, where for every one of these, you get about 12 of these puff pieces. And vice versa with Meghan. For every one good story about her, you get about, honestly, like 100 bad ones.
Look, let's be real for a second. Every single time Harry and Meghan so much as breathe in the direction of the UK, the palace sources magically pull out their keyboards and start typing at maximum speed. They say King Charles told them to keep their mouths shut if they want to stay in the royal fold. What fold? The fold was packed up, taped shut and shipped to California years ago. Harry and Meghan built their own whole operation over in Montecito. They aren't out here begging for a whole pass to sit at the kids' table in London. And let's talk about these mythical sources claim headlines. Who is Sources? Is Sources sitting in Kensington Palace sipping tea with William and Kate right now, dropping hot gossip on speed dial? Because every time H&M actually do a private family link-up to let the granddad see Archie and Lilibet, somehow a palace insider immediately runs to the press with a strict list of rules and demands. The math isn't mathing. The alleged leak. Harry and Meghan need to stop leaking secrets. The reality check. Who reported the exact time, location, and fake lecture from the Highgrove meeting? The palace apparatus. It's the classic move. Drop a narrative to make it look like the firm is generously holding open a door that the Sussexes didn't even ask to walk through. They don't need the Crown's permission to live their lives. Harry and Meghan paid off their own path, secured their own bag, and moved on. So when these articles act like Charles is holding the keys to their entire existence, regular folks just look at it and laugh. It's pure drama for the tabloids, plain and simple. Let's be honest, this story raises one big question. If Harry and Meghan are supposedly being told to keep quiet, then who's been keeping the tabloids fed for all these years? Because every other week there's another palace source, another royal insider, another friend of the king spilling what was supposedly a private conversation. Come on now. Harry has said for years, including in Spare, that he believed information from inside royal circles was finding its way into the press while he and Meghan were taking the hits. So when another anonymous story pops up telling Harry to stay silent, people are naturally going to ask, why does that rule only seem to apply to him? You can't keep saying, don't leak, while unnamed sources are out here working overtime. That's a double standard. And here's the funny part. Harry and Meghan have built a whole new life. They're raising Archie and Lilibet, running businesses, supporting charities, and doing their own thing. Meanwhile, the tabloids still can't stop talking about them. Maybe that's the real problem. Harry and Meghan moved on. The tabloids never did.
Here's what makes me laugh. Every time Harry comes up, some headlines act like he's standing outside Buckingham Palace with a suitcase saying, "Please let me back in." Really? Does that sound like a man who spent the last several years building a completely different life? Harry and Meghan didn't leave just to sit around waiting for a royal callback. They packed up, moved to California, started raising Archie and Lilibet on their own terms, built businesses, created projects they actually care about, and kept doing charitable work without needing a palace balcony. That's called moving forward.
It's like quitting a job you hated, starting your own company, and then your old co-workers keep telling everyone you're desperate to come back. No, you're just busy living your life. And I think that's what really gets under the tabloid skin. They expected Harry and Meghan to fail. They expected them to come crawling back. Instead, Meghan has shown she's smart, educated, business-minded, and fully capable of creating opportunities outside the royal system. Harry has stood by his wife and children while carving out a life that reflects their own values. That's not weakness, that's freedom. The truth is, Harry and Meghan didn't redefine success by staying inside the palace. They redefined it by proving they could build a happy, independent life without asking anyone for permission. And judging by how obsessed some tabloids still are with every move they make, they still can't accept that Harry and Meghan's biggest success story began the day they walked away. The double standard with the UK media is getting completely out of hand, and honestly, it's beyond embarrassing at this point. Look at how the tabloids play this game. When Harry and Meghan do anything, how dare they leave? Look at them standing there. Look at them existing. Absolute betrayal. When William and Kate literally just show up and wave, stop everything. Stunning, breathtaking, flawless royalty. Give them a medal for wearing a coat. William and Kate can literally do the absolute bare minimum. Show up for a 20-minute ribbon cutting, smile, slice a slice of cake, and the media acts like they just solved world hunger. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan pack up, move across an entire ocean, clear out of the toxic drama, and set up their own independent gig, and the tabloids talk about them like they pulled off a bank heist. It's completely wild. Everyone knows the media and the palace are thick as thieves. The tabloids act like unpaid PR interns for William and Kate, churning out front-page praise while constantly running hit pieces on the Sussexes. It's a total setup, and regular people watching this can see through the hustle from a mile away. The bias isn't even subtle anymore. It's just loud, messy, and totally shameless. Harry and Meghan chose peace and independence, and the media just can't stand that they didn't stick around to be the British press's permanent punching bag. Let's be honest. Before Harry and Meghan spoke out, a lot of people only saw the shiny side of royal life. The fancy carriages, the balcony waves, the glitter, the perfect family photos. That was the picture. Then Harry and Meghan pulled the curtain back and said, hold on, there's another side to this story. Now, you don't have to agree with everything they said. That's your choice. But one thing you can't deny is this. They got people asking questions they weren't asking before. People started talking about mental health, the pressure of royal life, the relationship between the palace and the tabloids, how stories end up in the newspapers. Those conversations didn't come out of nowhere. And I think that's why some people are still so angry. Not because Harry and Meghan disappeared, because they refused to play along. They chose honesty over pretending everything was perfect. They chose protecting their little family over protecting an image. That's a bold move. The funniest part? The critics keep saying Harry and Meghan should be ignored while spending every single day talking about Harry and Meghan. If that's not free publicity, I don't know what is. Harry and Meghan changed the conversation forever. The palace isn't just judged by the polished photos anymore. People now look beyond the smiles and ask, what's really going on? That's a conversation the tabloids wish had never started. But once people see behind the curtain, you can't tell them to stop looking. Let's end with what really matters. Not the headlines, not the palace gossip, not another royal source. Archie and Lilibet. They're just kids. They didn't ask to be born into one of the most talked about families in the world. They deserve what every child deserves. A family built on love, trust, and peace, not conditions leaked through the tabloids. And here's where I stand with Harry. He's not just thinking like a prince anymore. He's thinking like a dad. Any parent watching this gets it. If you believe your children could be caught in the same media circus you grew up in, you're going to do everything you can to protect them. That's not being difficult. That's being a father. Harry has made it clear that he wants Archie and Lilibet to have a childhood that's different from the one he experienced. Who can blame him? You can't build real family relationships through newspaper headlines or anonymous sources. That's not how families work. You pick up the phone, you sit down, you talk, you listen, you earn trust. That's how bridges are built. The sad part is that every time Harry and Meghan's children are mentioned, some tabloids treat them like characters in a royal soap opera instead of two little kids who deserve privacy. Enough already. Archie and Lilibet are not bargaining chips. They're not PR tools. They're Harry and Meghan's children. And Harry and Meghan have every right to put their kids first. If a stronger family relationship is ever going to happen, it shouldn't come with public conditions or stories splashed across front pages. It should happen quietly, respectfully, like real families do. Because at the end of the day, titles don't make a family. Trust does. And Harry and Meghan have made one thing crystal clear. they'll choose protecting Archie and Lilibet every single time. Honestly, most parents would do exactly the same. Thank you so much for watching, Squaddies. You legends are the reason this channel keeps growing. To all my amazing returning viewers, you already know your family around here, and I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed today's video, don't just sit there like a royal corgi. Smash that like button, share this video with your friends, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next royalty. Want to support the channel even more? Join our channel membership and become part of the squad. And if you really loved today's video, send a super thanks. You're helping this channel grow bigger and better every single day. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I read them all. Yes, even the spicy ones. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay blessed, and remember, keep smiling and keep shining. I'm your host, Miles, and I'll catch you in the next one.